Welcome back, crew. We wrapped up the month of June sending out our June game of the month, the Lancer RPG system and style. I want to give a shout out to the community too for joining us and engaging with us as we got to play that amazing system. So thank you for that. And if you happen to miss it, there's gonna be a link down in the description or a link popping up here somewhere. Go check it out. We got to play it. We got to learn some of the rule sets, going through it, and just dive into Massive Press's amazing system. So go check it out, and thank you again for coming through with us. But as we wrap up the month, I wanted to give a little bit of a recap or just kind of a review of my overall thoughts and feelings on the system. And if you saw the video too, or even if you just want to scroll to the end of the actual play system, you get to see some of my players' thoughts and opinions too on it. So let's dive in. So we've spent the whole month diving into the Lancer systems, going over our first impressions, how to build a PC, how to build an NPC, and just some of the core mechanics of the system, wrapping it up with the actual play where we got to put the mechanics to the test and do it in a live game situation. So we're going to do this pretty similar to what you've seen before with our Power Rangers video. We're just going to go over some of our likes, what I liked about the system, some things my players mentioned, a few dislikes, some things that I maybe just didn't care for as much. Maybe I just didn't understand fully. Some things I'm going to be taking over for other systems too, just some things that I thought were really cool and deserved to be utilized in some other spaces, as well as just some wishes, just some maybe some things other systems could have done, or some this system could have done. Just overall some wishes I think that are kind of revolve around the Lancer RPG system. But yeah, let's dive in. So there's a lot to like with the system. I'll be honest, this has been probably my favorite new RPG I've played in 2022. And I've played a lot of them. I've played Power Rangers, I've played the Coyote and Crow system, Krim, Krim, I always mispronounce it, I think that's what it is, and a couple others that are escaping me right now. Mothership, but I think this one may be my favorite, at least that I've ran. It's a lot of customization options. I love customization. It's got a little bit of a classless system, though you are locked in a little bit with the mech you choose. Just a lot of things I like with it. But kind of kicking it off, that's my first point, the amount of customization. For me, a fun RPG system is one you can truly make your own PC and just live out the vision you want to. And with this, you're able to do that. You can really go through, especially at later license levels, which is a little bit of a thorn there, but that's one piece. Later license level, you're able to really go through and just customize the hell out of your mech and make sure that you've got all the bells and whistles that really fulfill the vision of what you want to bring out for your Lancer. And I love that. That's probably my favorite thing for any system, which is why I've really gravitated to the Mutants and Mastermind system. I love classless systems that give you options to really just build out your vision. And I think the Lancer RPG does a really good job with that. It has a ton of cool resources within it. My thing, I wish, so this is, I'm beginning to wish in early. I'm looking forward to seeing some expansion packs because I think there's some more cool systems and more cool things they can pull into it that would just be really cool to have. So, overall, customization's amazing. I love what they've done with the system. This is one, usually with Love of the Game of the Month, I don't pick them up too much afterwards. This would be one I'll probably be doing some more videos with and definitely some more one shots with too. So, because I just really enjoyed some of the aspects with it, especially the customization, and I want to dive into that a little bit more. So one of the other pieces too, you'll see this during our live play, is the system's complex. There's a lot going on with it, but a lot of the actions are surprisingly simple. One of the things that I swear was going to trip us up was one of my players wanted to grapple somebody. And if you play TTRPGs, you know that could be anywhere from easy to very complex. It can sometimes even require a flow chart if you remember 3.5 Pathfinder 1E days. This was just surprisingly simple. You just make a melee attack against the creature you're going after. If it hits, you're grappled. So that was one of those ones my player mentioned. I didn't know he was going for a grapple build. I kind of like, I don't want to look into this. But I read the rules and it was just quick grapple check. So that was very easy. And that's when we use the grapple example. There's a number of different actions within the system that kind of have that same guidelines. You expect them to be complex because the system itself is so complex, but overall very simple, very easy to fulfill within the game, which is nice. So that's really one of my biggest roses for the system to steal. I don't know if any of you guys watch NADPOD where they do the roses, thorns, and buds. One of my favorites. So still that one of my favorite roses. Complex system, but sometimes the actions are very simple to execute, which when you're in the game time and kind of running everything right at the table is beyond perfection because it just frees up some of your space as a DM in your head, so you can think of other things, and lets your players know what they can do without having to stress about making sure they're getting the rules 100% right. So big rose for that. The other thing too, and kind of goes along with this, is even though some of the actions are simple, just between how the system builds itself, how you build your PC, and how the things play out, I felt it captured the feel of mech fighting. And I know for some of you who probably watched the video are a little more experienced with Lancer, we kind of kept it at a simplistic level, which is why I really want to do some more of these to really dig into it. I love complex tactical fighting, and we didn't get too much into that this time, but this system just kind of captures that feeling of complex tactical fighting. And just really, it just captures the feel of you piloting your mech through the battle, and I loved it for that. So that's never the rose there, and definitely something I want to dive into some more. The other thing I really liked with this system too, kind of getting close to wrapping up my likes of the system, I love the NPC design process. So we went through this pretty in depth in our video. Check that out in the links too if you haven't. But this it was a cool way to do it. I like how it looks. It's intimidating at first, even I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. But it's a good way to be able to go through and build monsters or enemy blocks that you need without it being super time consuming, without too much craziness going within it. One thing I want to do next time is try to build my own one without a template because I love building monsters. 5e, that's been one of my favorite pieces with it. So I'd like to try to do my own thing, but the templates are great. The classes are great. The templates are awesome as well, and it's just especially I liked how they have the templates too. So there's where you can go through and pick like a grunt levels if you want some minions to just kind of flow through and just soak up shots, or if you want a boss level or kind of an elite level. There's just so much you can do with it. I like that. I want to dive more into that. So cool system on that side. Definitely worth exploring more. And then my last two things on the like side, they kind of go hand in hand, is that the resources that come with this. I got a copy, when I downloaded my PDF, it came with a folder, and it gives you mech tokens, which is sweet, for some of the core mechs and some generic ones as well. So I use that for most of my bad guys. My players use that, except for one of my players, Burger, who made his own custom mech, which looks sweet. Maybe I'll see if I can include a link in there in the description too. But yeah, they included that in, which I thought was amazing. I wish other systems would do that too. So that's another wish there too, because that's just a cool way to do it for some of your art that you've got licensed in there. Make some tokens so players can just pick it up. And a lot of us nowadays are playing on the digital table spaces, so you can just go in, put it in, and be good to go. So that's great, amazing, great job, Massive. On that similar line, though, I loved how they had all of the different tip sheets. A lot of times, systems won't have it in the main book, or will have like a separate kind of resource for tip sheets on how to play. Lancer puts it right in the system. For the PDF, it bookmarks it, but even with the hard copy, they're right in the book with the tip sheets for quick combat references, statuses, everything you need to know to play the game. It just has it right there, easily accessible, and especially if you're using the PDF. What I did is I just printed the PDF, or printed a copy, or printed a page of the PDF to PDF, and I put it into the Roll20 system so my players could see the different actions in combat, see the different resources and things like that, just so they know what they can do, what everything means, and make it quick and easy. So great job. Like I've said it before, you all laid the book out very well and had a lot of resources up front just to make the system easy and fun to learn how to play. So fantastic job there. So we've talked about my likes of the roses, for lack of a better word. Let's go into some of the thorns that I've had. There's not too many with it. My biggest one, and this is probably just a stylistic preference versus and I know why they did it, but I wish that rather than license level 2, when kind of your first opportunity to pick a different mech, I kind of wish they started that at license level 0 or maybe 1. Because I know why they put everybody at the Everest, so you can kind of learn how to play the system before going through and building your customizations out. But I do wish it kind of started at that level 2. And I could have started the game at level 2, but I've just going through the forums and Discords, and everybody's very welcoming there. They did mention that license level 1, or license level 0 is probably the best spot to start for new players. I kind of fudged it and pushed it to license level 1 so they could choose some customization options from the different mech lines. But I do wish they kind of built it into the rules to start, or make it a little easier maybe to start with a customized mech. But it's not really a true complaint, but that's just one of my thoughts, because I love that customization and I wish we could have gone all the way into that. But definitely don't worry, we're going to be doing Probably not next month. Maybe in August we'll have a little bit more free time. We're going to be doing a license level 2 one, maybe license level 3 even, where they can either have a fully customized mech out or complete one of the lines or just go through and pick and mix and match from different lines too. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely coming. So that's one of my first dislikes. My only other really big dislike I would say from this, and we didn't get into this into the game unfortunately, but I wish they fleshed out pilot actions a little bit more, because we didn't really have a real pilot of outside the mech pilot action, but I kind of feel like there could be a little bit more like built into the rules for pilot actions, and that's just kind of my personal opinion there. But just something that I thought about. I wish there was just a bit more of that too. And then the only other thing I would mention, in the NPC templates and resources kind of shift this, so I don't really even think it's necessary. But I do wish they had a few more examples of kind of the mix and match templates, or even just a full fleshed out monster section or mech session where they've got a couple examples of the template blocks and things like that. Just so if people wanted to, they could grab and go and grab a grunt one and grab a boss one just out of there, just so they have those examples pre-made. Because I know for some that don't like messing with monsters and templates and things like that, that can be a little bit daunting. So I think having that monster manual piece for some of those players would be great, or DMs would be great. But overall, that's a real minor complaint. I like making monsters and making enemy blocks, so it wasn't an issue for me. But I know I've worked with other DMs and things like that don't really care for that section, and I know that could be daunting and kind of push them away from the game. So that's just a small one, not exactly for me, but just something maybe to consider. So that's kind of our roses, our thorns, with our likes and dislikes. We're going to go into some things I wish we could take from, that I love from this system, that I wish I'm going to be taking and maybe put into my other games, and things you could pick in your other games too. I loved the accuracy and difficulty section with this. I thought it was real cool. So quick refresher. If you versus advantage, disadvantage, the system does accuracy and difficulty. Or difficult or difficulty. There's two checks that can involve that, so one of the two. But with this system, if you have a point of accuracy, you get to roll 1d6. If you have a point of difficulty, you have minus 1d6. The nice thing is you can stack up points of accuracy and difficulty from different situation markers, as well as different abilities and things like that. And I thought that was cool, because sometimes advantage disadvantage is so plain. You can't really reward them much beyond advantage unless you want to get into crazy rollers, like kind of multiples levels of advantage, which is a little bit much. But I liked being able to have things where if they put themselves in a very advantageous situation, you can give them that 1d6. And the nice thing with it is if you give them 5 points of accuracy, it's not like they're going to have 5d6 that they get to add. They just get to make sure they get that best d6 roll. So if they rolled 5d6 and they got a 6 on one and 2s and 3s on the other ones, they'd get that 6 to add in there, which I thought was really cool. And I think maybe putting that into my Star Wars 5e or even my regular 5e games, because I think that's a fun way to do it. It gives you, it lets you reward the player without making the success like an automatic win. So very cool system. This is something that I think should be a little bit more prolific around, and it's something that I'm going to be bringing to my other games. The other big thing too I liked, that I think other games can work well with, I liked having kind of the defined risky and heroic maneuvers. I don't know, I'm a 5e DM, that's what I've kind of played the most, and I know a lot of 5es. Yeah, when you set the DC for stuff like that, you're kind of doing that, but I loved having that risky, so they know even if they succeed, unless they just ace it, there could be a little bit of a cost with it. And heroic, so they need to just come through with either some great RP to get some accuracy points, or that it just may be something that's beyond them. And with DCs, you could do that pretty easily, but I liked having it fleshed out in the rules so the players know exactly what they needed to hit to do so. It kind of gives them a little bit more weight to their decisions. To be like, hey, you can do that, but that's going to be a risky move, or hey, you can do that, but you're going to need to be heroic to bust through this. So I like that. I'm not sure exactly how I'd apply that. I like the risky piece, and I could definitely apply that to some of the other 5e games. It's something I'm going to be thinking about, just to see how they would flow in there, just so they know exactly what the DCs are, exactly what they need to do, so they can make an informed in-character decision for how they want to proceed forward. So that's some likes, dislikes, some things I wish other systems would have. Or one last thing I would say I wish other systems would have. I love how they have the NPC templates. I know D&D used to do this. I think 3.5 had it. I never played 4E. I'm not sure if they had it or not. But for they had templates you could throw for the monster manual over and kind of create your own things. I wish 5e would bring that back. I wish other systems would have that as well. I just really liked how they could go through and like, okay, I want this type of build. I want an archer build, but I want to make him a boss. So I'm going to make him an ultra. I think that's a really cool way to make monster creation easier for players who may not be as familiar with it. So, other systems, take note of that. That's a really cool system to do, and definitely wish other ones would have it in there. But overall, that's just a little bit of what we think about the Lancer system. I liked it. I had a blast with it. My players said they had a blast too. This is going to be something that we're going to be doing more of in the future. So keep an eye out on the channel. There's going to be some more Lancer goodness down the line. But overall, just really liked it. I love the customization. Glad that we got to spend June diving into this system. So in the comments, if you want to see us go over some other pieces of the Lancer system, feel free to drop those in. I'd love to have some guidance on what the community is looking for other Lancer content. So drop it in, drop a like. But with July, we're going to be diving into a new system for our game of the month. We're actually going to be taking a look at the One Ring system by Free League Gaming. So we're going to be diving into that. And for those who are familiar, the One Ring system is the Lord of the Rings system. So we're going to be doing kind of a similar approach. Next week will be our first impressions of it. Then we'll go over how to build a PC, some of the core mechanics of the system, and then we may build our own enemy. So I'm not sure I have to figure out what the adventure is going to be for the crew. But come through, stay in. This is going to be a fun one. I've wanted to check the system out for a while. I've heard great things about Free League Games too. So we're going to be checking that out. And we may be doing the Alien RPG either July or August or sometime in the future. So keep an eye out for that. But overall, just really want to thank you guys. The community for the Lancer system has been amazing, and I just appreciate you guys coming through, watch the videos, and liking. So thank you all, and I hope to see you all around soon too. But until next time, crew.